back. Ooh.
Hello, hello. It is episode 20 of the Dojocast. And as always, it is myself, Stone, Hatena, Hyun, and our guest today is BestFrog. Hi, BestFrog. How are you?
Hello. Yeah, it's me, Frog, of the Best. Actually, Best is the first name. It's not an actual description.
Oh, it's Best, and then last name Frog.
Yeah. It's not an adjective. It's a name.
Okay, gotcha. Welcome to the show. Today is animator to director, so I'm excited to hear a little more about that, and some D&D thrown in there as well.
Oh yeah.
Before we get into that, though, I've been wanting to tell this little icebreaker for the last 2 or 3 weeks now, but the lore just kept coming, so I wanted to wait until it was it seemed like it was over, and I think it's over now. Something really weird happened to me starting a few weeks ago, the beginning of November. I think it was November 1st it started, and it lasted for a whole 2.5 weeks, I think. But I started getting these calls from a number that was specific to, the area code was Colorado, where I happen to reside in the U.S. But the location where it said it was first from Wyoming. So it was it's a call from Wyoming with a Colorado area code. I was like, okay, that's weird.
That's weird.
And then I just decided to not pick it up because that's weird. Why would I just pick up a ring? If it's important, they can leave me a voicemail. And they did leave me a voicemail. Do you guys want to hear that voicemail?
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
I am down.
Oh man, I'm pausing this music because this voicemail was. I'll let it speak for itself, but my god, I shared it instantly to my Discord server, my private friend group as soon as it happened. Oh god, oh no. I've lost it. I've lost it. Wait, hang on. I know I shared it in the original. Hang on. Okay, wait.
It's worth it.
It is very worth it. It is very worth it. It's so creepy, I will say. I found it. I'm gonna play it at full volume. This is it.
Okay.
You hear that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the voicemail I got. And that's it.
That's it.
That's the whole thing.
Bro.
I don't know.
Have you ever played with That's... Bro, it sounds like some audio from Simulacrum. What in the world?
Yeah, but then it continues from there. It doesn't end.
Okay.
I get another phone call. Let's see. That was... Yeah, it was the same day, but a little later. Same area code, different number. But it was from... It was saying it was from the Palestinian territories.
What?
And the voicemail was once again just this. The same exact audio file.
What?
Yeah.
That is weird.
That is super weird. So obviously it's a some sort of redirect, but it's
Yeah. So I tend to get a lot of scam calls on my phone, and I usually just ignore them. And sometimes they'll let a voicemail come through of just a recording where they expect you to be listening by a certain point, but they don't have any functionality where they recognize that it went to voicemail, so the recording just keeps going.
Right.
So I was suspicious. Maybe it's something like that. But what is this supposed to be? So I thought, okay, maybe if I pick up the phone next time, which I probably shouldn't do, but if I pick it up, I wonder what I'm going to hear. And so I did record it, but unfortunately, when you screen record a phone call, it just doesn't pick up the audio for privacy reasons. So fair. But I picked up the phone next time that I got a call, and it was from Wyoming again. Different number, but still from Wyoming, still Colorado area code. And I picked it up, and that same audio was playing. From the very beginning, it started with whatever that audio is. And I muted myself instantly, because I was like, okay, what is happening? And then I unmute myself, and I say hello, and they instantly hang up.
That's weird. Okay, because it's if it's a pickup service, maybe that's some weird loop it has playing because there's no one to talk to and it's not connecting you. But as soon as you pick up, usually you'd be connected through some kind of delay to somebody.
Exactly. But it just hung up. And it was
That is
like
really weird.
I'm pretty sure like if you layer the audio on top of each other, it is the same audio file. I just have no idea what it is, what it's supposed to be. It's just so, and then I just kept getting calls from them, and the voicemails continue to come in. They would like occasionally come in. They would sometimes send a voicemail, sometimes not. But then the voicemails started getting shorter and shorter until I stopped receiving calls from them. So I still have no clue what happened.
Weird.
And like I'm not getting any more calls from them. I still get scam calls, but those are actual scams. But like the Palestinian territory thing, the Wyoming, it's a Colorado area code, and it sounds like someone's marching in snow.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I have no idea, but like, I just thought I'd share that.
I think you've been choking.
Fun little story. But if something ever comes from that, I will be sure to update you guys here.
Yeah, no, that is pretty weird. Interesting. Yeah, no, we need. I'm gonna need the updates, especially if you get abducted, bro. You gotta let us know. You gotta drop the beats.
Yeah, I'll let you know as soon as I'm getting updated. As soon as I'm getting abducted.
I have one phone call. I got abducted. They want me to tell you this, and you just play the audio. I don't know, man. Sorry, that's all I got.
Just imagine getting kidnapped, and instead of calling the police, you're just like, "Yo, bro, you're not gonna believe what happened."
Oh man. Well. Let's get started.
Yeah, shall we? Let's get into the topics. And the most important one being our guest today, Mr. Frog. When did you start? When did you begin? We always like to start with asking people when they kind of got into animation. When did you get started?
Oh, in animation specific. I was about to describe my birth. My bad.
Okay. When did you?
Silly.
So I got started in animation on an old channel years ago. So when I started on YouTube, I didn't start with animation. I originally started just uploading Geometry Dash videos. And it wasn't Geometry. Sorry, before the Geometry Dash, GarageBand songs. There you go.
Hey.
That's where I started, was making GarageBand songs. From there, I went to Geometry Dash because in both of those situations, it was they had those, you know how they used to have, a lot of apps used to have those, directly go to YouTube or something with this thing. I didn't fully understand how that worked, but I had a channel that I'd made at the time, and I was like, okay. And then I was like, oh, wait, I can have control over this. I can use a laptop. I think I had was it a Dell? I either had a Dell, like an old Dell laptop, or it was the PC that my mother had built at the time, like a long time ago. Like I still have that like computer. It just doesn't work anymore. But yeah, on the old channel, I believe I did send actually in the thing the first animation I ever did was not in stick figures. It was Minecraft animations. I started off making animations with a software called Minimator, which was, obviously a Minecraft animator software, but it was basically like, I think it's like, how Blender has a lot of different things for like Minecraft people, they can put stuff in there. Minimator was just Minecraft. It was a 3D program specifically made for Minecraft animations, and the first one I made was Okami Battle Part 1. I don't think I to this day I don't know what Okami means, but
just a good word.
We can find out if you want.
We could really, actually, we could just
hey Google, what does Okami mean?
Action adventure game developed by Clover Studios and published by Capcom. It was released for PlayStation 2 in 2006 in Japan and North America, and in 2007 in Europe and Australia.
All right. Thank you, Google.
So I just looked it up, and it just says Great Deity on my hand.
That's a long and short explanation for the term Okami.
See, this is why you should be looking things up on Bing. All right, that's all I'm saying.
But then you don't get funny moments like that.
That's true. Actually, I'd prefer to have that story because now we know there's a show for that. But yeah, I made a few really bad, but my first animations back then. And I did Minecraft for a while. Like I think a solid year I did just Minecraft animations. And eventually I found what's it called? Pivot. I found Pivot, which is how I got into
Okay.
stick figure stuff. And from Pivot, I got to Krita, or Krita, whoever, whatever you want to call it. And that's what got me into like drawing my own, like fully drawing my own animations. But I didn't actually start using Krita till like a couple of years later. Like it was a few years after I had started with stick nodes.
A lot
And
of programs.
Oh, if we want to, okay. Actually, if we're really talking the first animations I made, then first software would have actually been PowerPoint.
PowerPoint?
I used to make animations on PowerPoint. Yes.
You can do that.
If I remember properly, the thing is, I remember what's his name? Not Jax Films. What is Jaxo? He's the Australian. He does like a lot of art stuff, art animation.
Jazza?
Jazza, yeah. Jazza, you know how he apparently started on PowerPoint as well. But what he did was he, figured out how to like have the frames go like by to actually make frames. I didn't do that. I actually, you see, PowerPoint used to have this old tool, I don't know if they still have it, where you could take an image when you imported it, and you could have it during that slide have a transition that it would move, like could have it on a completely custom path that you would draw. You could draw a path and it would follow that path.
Huh.
And but it also had another tool where you could take images and auto remove backgrounds. So what I would do is I would draw stuff on paper and then print or copy that into the computer, and then, I would take a photo, put that on the computer, and then use the remove background feature first to get rid of the background, and then I would use the moving thing to just move the characters around and stuff like that. So that's probably the actual first animation I ever did, because when I first started, I started using a lot of PowerPoint for a long time. So that'd have to been when I was like either 9 or 10 at least.
So did you have something then that transitioned you from PowerPoint over to Pivot? You started to do some stick figure animating at that point, I'd imagine, because Pivot is, correct me if I'm wrong, it's mostly, if only, stick figures, right?
Right. So it went PowerPoint years and years ago, and then it went Minimator, and then Pivot is the order that it went in for me.
Okay.
Pivot, yes. There's models and you can do a lot of stuff. Obviously people put their minds to things, but it is like made to be stick figure animations. And the transition, honestly, it really was just me realizing, you can look stuff up online, and you can find free stuff online, and there's free stuff online, and just looking stuff up. And but I guess like what would have been the inspiration for getting into like animation in general, I would probably say Slamacow and Black Plasma Studios were two of my biggest inspirations, like getting into animation like as a thing.
Like are those two different creators or animations?
Yeah, those are two different creators. So Slamacow is an old Minecraft animator, and I think currently he was recently working with there's a game he worked on, and I can't remember the name of it. But after he went missing for like a long time, stopped making uploads and stuff, but, do career stuff, life stuff, and all that. And he came back to announce, he's working on a game at the time. After what's it called? That's what inspired me to get into animation in general. But what probably brought me to the stick figure stuff specifically, I think, had to be what would be the Dojo, just in general. I can't remember exactly how I found the Dojo, to be honest. I do know. There was this dude I met. I was already into stick figures at the time, but that's how I found Flash. I'll get into that in a moment. But the point is, Dojo brought me in a lot of the stick figure stuff, specifically like the collabs. Hatena here was a big inspiration. You inspired me. It's your fault.
Yeah, everything that you do is because of me.
Let's not go that far. There was Shuriken, who also got me in a lot of stuff, and I'm sure he likes to deny it, Loonstar as well. But Huh?
Huh?
Oh, I heard a noise. Sorry. But yeah. After I got into the dojo and I was like, oh, I gotta find how do I do stick figures, and I found Pivot. Oh, sick! I started using Pivot because I was like, that's the only way it can be done, right? And then from Pivot, I was like, I eventually what's Krita? Completely free? It's weird because I started on Krita with animation. I didn't start with art, and Krita is primarily an art program. It's not a vector program mostly. So it's that was an interesting take on things. But yeah, over time, I just started making more stuff. Then there was this like dude I'd met on some Discord server somewhere who had made a suggestion and had given me my first code for Flash 8, actually. So I didn't find it. I was given a code like for Macromedia.
Yeah, so totally legal.
Yes.
Totally 100% legal version of Flash. Yeah.
It was a complete legal. I purchased it from him. He owns Flash. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, he's the creator of Flash. Oh, wow. Impressive.
Yes, dude. But yeah, no, I don't remember when I really started using Flash exactly. Like when the transition from Krita, because I started doing Flash. I liked Krita better at the time though. So I started I jump back and forth. But yeah, animation wise, I think, yeah, Minecraft is the big reason that I'm into animation in general. But yeah, the dojo was a big part of that as well. Especially the synced animations. It was the synced stuff that was like, yo, bro, yeah. I'll be honest, Stone, I was in the dojo community for a long time before I even knew who the heck you were.
That doesn't surprise me.
I was not around during Newgrounds time. Like I was not around during all that, like at all. I wasn't even online, I think, at the time. So, but yeah.
My internet cut on me for a minute there. Did you happen to mention what animation? Do you remember a specific animation that might have gotten you into stick figure animation?
I'd say the one that may have gotten me the most was one of either two different possibilities. It was either what's it called? It was either Hatena's what's it called? Imitator Tribute.
Oh, ew.
The thing is, the reason at the time, especially that I liked that one better than the first one, was because I wasn't as big on like rock music. And I was a bigger fan of like techno, hip hop, stuff like that. And you had like trap. I think there's trap music in that one, right? Pretty sure.
It's some kind of EDM, yeah.
Some sort of EDM, yeah. And I was more into EDM at the time, so I just liked the music better in general. And there's a really, and I saw that I didn't fully get it at first. I was like, wait, they're doing this. I will say as well, the other one that I think really got me in was I think it was Dojo Tribute. Like it was called just Dojo Tribute. I think. Hold on, or I'm trying to let me see. It's an old one. It was let me see. It's on the Dojo. It should still be on the Dojo. Or was it called Tribute? Let me see. It was part 2 of something, and the whole thing was done in Pivot. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's not the word tribute. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was, but it was an animation. It was a collab done completely in Pivot, and it was fairly old on the Dojo. I'm pretty sure, but I cannot. Is it Tribute 2? Or like Oldies 2, Classic 2, or something it was called. At least I'm pretty sure it's on there. But whatever that animation was, that was what up?
No, I'm just gonna go back to my animation because I don't know how to find what you're looking for.
Yeah, no, all good. The other one though was actually I think the biggest one, maybe the biggest one actually was Ron's 1000 hit combo. Actually.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah, that one was a very, very big moment. I was like, yo, that's so cool.
Yeah, I remember when.
I want to do that.
Stone, have you seen this one?
I don't think I have, actually.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember this released. And how many views this get? Really? Only 400,000? That's a shocker.
That's a lot. That's a lot!
Well, for as much as I was hearing about it, I expected it to be more, you know?
True.
But yeah, that's what I think. That's pretty much what got me into animation in general. There's a lot of other things. Obviously, I think there was another group, like a pixel animation studio that I watched occasionally. But yeah, those were probably the biggest inspirations for me specifically.
Very nice.
And that's kind of what started you down the path of like hunting down what they were using type thing, trying to find some stick figure animation software.
Pretty much, yeah. Like once I realized,
What's funny is
people
because like
can
if
get
you
these
search
things,
that,
yeah.
it doesn't really lead you to that path. Because it's not like people. Flash isn't called stick figure animation software. The software, you know what I mean? It's
Right,
like you kind of
yeah,
have to like dig a little bit.
You do really have to find it, yeah. So, but yeah, no, that's what got me into all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I've been a part of it for a decent amount of time, but not nearly as much as some people, but still.
Right.
Calling you all.
Were you part of any communities before Hyun's Dojo? You talked a little bit about like Geodash. Is there anything else you were kind of part of that maybe that you're still part of now, but was before HD?
I was a part of a few different. Oh, I know what it was. Sorry, Joint 2, I think it was, or it was Joint. It was Joint.
Oh.
It was Joint animation. It was the Joint. Maybe it wasn't 2. Wait, was it? It was the Joint.
Oh my god, we're backtracking.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. No. It was.
This one by Boom Kami?
Yeah. It was one. It was one of the ones. It was the one that was in the fully like pivot one. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this one's in pivot. I think it's Flash.
Yeah. But yeah. So, what was the recent question?
What were the communities you joined before?
Like any online communities before Hyun's Dojo?
Right. So, I'm gonna be straight up. Some of the I was part of a couple of role playing communities.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna mention which one. I'm gonna keep that one close to the chest. But I wasn't really part of the Geometry Dash community, as in like it's hard to put. I think it's like when I started doing YouTube stuff, I wasn't really part of any communities. I wasn't like online because I didn't have any chat websites or anything like that. I just honestly, the only community I would say I was really technically a part of was the Minecraft community. And before that, not really. I wasn't really online that much before I started uploading stuff. So,
okay.
I'd say I was a pretty big fan within like the Undertale stuff. But I wasn't part of the communities. I was like an observer. I was a spectator or a lurker, if anything. I wasn't really participating in anything at the time because I didn't know how to. And my grandmother was very paranoid about, that kind of like, showing your face online, stuff like that. Sadly, there's a lot of deleted Roblox gameplay videos from the old channel.
The world's missing
It's
out.
unfortunate. Honestly, I could probably I'd have to do a deep dive, but I think I probably could find them one day. But yeah, nah, it's a lot of they might just be what's it called, unlisted. I might have to check. I'll have to sign into the channel some other time. But yeah, no, I wasn't really part of any communities before then. Not really.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, it's I think the first like real community. I was part of a couple of. I was part of fanfic communities. I was like reading a lot of like fan fiction. Like I think I even wrote one myself. So I was a part of like the fanfic community generally, but I wasn't like super deep into it.
God, sorry. All right. Stone, are you good? Are you on your phone?
I'm on my phone. I don't know if you saw my internet cut out on me.
Yeah, what happened? Is just your internet shit itself?
I have no idea, and I just now got a message that says that there is a service outage affecting your area. Restoration estimated 1 a.m. And then as the internet went out, just hail, like 200 million tons.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, so I might sound way different, but it's just I'm on my phone.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Okay, no, don't be. It's okay. I was just curious what happened.
He's actually so upset. He's angered.
Man, do you get hail over there often?
The show must go on.
No, but do you get hail often?
Oh, Sorry. Not really. I mean, probably I would say less than 3 to 5 times a year. It's done. It did it for like 30 seconds, but it just dumped. Like it looks white outside. It just.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I have no idea. So.
All right. Well, we're gonna continue like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Hi, Zobi. Sorry, I saw Zobi.
All right. So you've done a few collabs since you've joined the community. Which collabs have you hosted and participated in?
So the collabs that I have hosted, there is the Bomb collab. There is the first one I ever hosted was Respawn 1. Respawn 1 was the first like collab I ever actually hosted. Yeah, there is. I'm trying to think. So Respawn 1, the Bomb collab, the Square collab, the which I think was inspired by the box. There was there's a couple of it's hard to remember the older ones, but not most of these first ones never ended up on the dojo for obvious reasons. But once I started getting really into it, I think like one of the first collabs, I was like, yo, I'm so proud with how this turned out was actually the Bomb collab, because that's how I met Not So Pro-ish. I'm pretty sure it was either that one or the Sportsman collab. I might have known him a little bit before, but yeah, there was what's it called? But yeah, I got into collabs just in general because it was sort of a practicing reason. Because I mentioned before, my career-wise plans required a lot of people management kind of skills, and so I was like, oh, well, collabs are basically that, right? So I decided to start hosting collabs to figure out how to to manage people in general, and that kind of thing, and so yeah, there's Bomb, Sportsman. I can't really remember some of the early ones, but the one I think especially one of the ones I'm most proud of the two I'd say are at the top of my list would be Respawn 2, the Respawn Level 2 collab, which was synced, and I think that was my first synced collab I ever hosted.
Hey.
Oh right, there was the Burning Sun. I forgot about the Burning Sun. Yeah, Burning Sun, but there was Respawn 2. There was, which is how I kind of started. I was starting to get to know a lot of people, because the way I really got to kind of become a little bit known in the community was actually through you, Hatena. You were kind of my gateway into getting to know people, as far as meeting Loonsar, Jin, Blue, a number of other people that I got to know through the Sync Discord. I remember the biggest thing, I think the first time I had a direct interaction with you, because at this point I was fanboying and I was being that guy, was the IRL part I'd made for the Stuntman 1.
Yeah, I remember that very clearly.
I submitted that last minute.
Oh yeah, it
barely
was
got it in.
It was on the last day I was taking in entries, and that was even after an extension.
Yeah.
And I joined that voice chat, and you're just like, oh, I have this part. I hope it's not too late. And then I watched. I was like, dude, this is really fun. It's such a, because it was mixed media. He manipulated the frames and added his own 2D effects on top of it. So it was IRL footage, but he edited it kind of like James Lee, who I think is most known for doing that now.
Yeah, it was just, I was still very proud of that. Funny part though is that whole thing from the moment I recorded it to animating and everything was done in maybe 2 or 3 hours. I did it right before submitting it. Because you were in the stream and I said, yo, what if we submit within the hour or something, within the next, before you end the stream today? And you're like, yeah, that'd be fine. And I was like, whew, I went out. It was hot. It was so hot.
It looked like a pretty hot day. I wonder if I could find that. Was that Stuntman 1 or 2?
No, Stuntman 1. It was in Stuntman 1. And I was burning up. I was high ducking. But yeah, no, it was in the first one. I know it was in the first one, but I just don't remember where exactly it was placed. There it is. That was it. That was it.
Because it was at the end of compilation as well.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
So here it is. This was, yeah, there I am.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm still very the crazy part about that like part, right, is first and foremost, so recording it, I did all the recording, but at the time I didn't have like as many, like I used to do like editing stuff, and if you look at it, the parts that like move faster were, so I took the footage, right? I took the footage and I converted it into a PNG sequence, and I put that PNG sequence into Krita because it has a thing for that. I then went frame by frame, removing every other frame to make it change the FPS. No, that was a later one. Sorry, in this one, for all the parts that are quicker, I manually removed and added frames for like things that were slower or faster. So I manually double framed this whole animation, and then I did the 2D effects over it. I animated stuff. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I mean,
Because you could have just taken the footage and edited it and then been done. So you actually did a little more animation work to it, rather than just taking raw footage and layering effects on top of it, which is still cool.
Yeah,
but I like
that
fact.
Yeah, thank you. I was very proud of it. And then I made another one. Yeah. This was the other one I made. So I made another one for, is this 3? Yeah, for Stuntman 3.
3. It's the most recent Stuntman.
Yeah. So proud of this.
Oh man,
so proud of
this
this
one surprised me, especially this effect right here, this movement. When you jump up and grab it. That's so fun, dude. Because like I remember you told me, right? Like this is a split of like 2 recordings, right?
Yeah, there's 2. So go back to right when it's completely made of light, and then next forward, and then right there. That's when it cuts. Right at that part.
But
when
you
it,
got like the exact same pose in the exact same place, though. I can see it where it shifts a little bit, but like
it's a little bit. When I did it, the actual staff was like a couple, like it was like a foot on like that little like ledge down there. It was down there. So I did the jump once and kept my feet where as best I could where they were, and then reached for the staff and did it from there. So yeah.
Oh, so you were able to do it just by you just put it just off frame basically. So you're able to like keep your feet where they were, just lean, grab it, and then stand back up and do it again.
For the most part, I took a couple different takes of each one.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I was very happy with this one. And then I think I did another one for, I can't remember which one. How many Stuntmans have there been?
There's only 3 so far.
Oh,
only 3.
There may or may not be a 4th. I have still yet to decide.
Yeah, because there's one other part that I made in that one as well, but it was much shorter, so I don't know how easy that one's going to be.
Oh yeah, no, that's still in this collab. That's right. Because I remember I reached out to you if you wanted to make a custom entry, and then I sent you the audio that was necessary for you to fill out, and then you just blatantly ignored that file.
Wait, I did?
You did, yeah. Because then like, well, no. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Because you did this one first, and then I was like, wait, this one's way too long for the audio file I sent you. Because the audio file was supposed to be like 2 seconds long, and then you sent me this entire thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I had to make a. Yeah, so I did 2 parts, but I don't remember where that one was at.
I don't remember either. Not off the top of my head.
It's unfortunate. I think that no, I don't think it was. I think it was earlier on because it was a part you needed to fill. Like I'm pretty sure it was one of the earlier sections. But yeah,
those who find it.
Yeah, I do think those collabs were definitely some of my favorites. But then Smooth Moves. Once I hosted Smooth Moves, so that part I animated. Was still very happy with that. Still very am. This was the first collab I think that like after Respawn 2 that made me go, this is something I can actually do. I'm good at. I can get people together and make stuff like this, and people made some like really really nice parts. I will say as well, this was the collab that kind of like got me to start to understand like you know what standards you should have when making a collaboration. Yeah, Lunsar and Undermine here. Yeah, oh my goodness, these parts. Smooth Moves 1, and people also know there is a Smooth Moves 2 currently in the workings, like actively, which is looking really good so far. I'm really looking forward to when people get their
man.
stuff. There was a yeah. That is how I met Wimble, actually. I met Wimble through
nice.
this one. And I didn't know that part's Zeppelin, but I didn't know Zeppelin at that point. I will say Smooth Moves 2 is not going to have a fan art section. Much as I would like it to, I get why it won't have it. It's not going to... It just, it doesn't really fit. It's an animation collab. But no, I was really happy with some of the art people made for this.
But yeah, so like what came after Smooth Moves? Like the reception of this, did that have a big impact on any of your future projects?
Once Smooth Moves went as well as it did, at that point as well, I had a lot more connections and just like in general. And I believe it was around Smooth Moves. It was before Smooth Moves and Respawn 2 that I did the 28 animations in a day and the 100 days of animation. But if you look at my channel now, the main feed right now is like music videos, or like not music videos, but like songs. I have drifted after Smooth Moves. There was the Yoga Ball collab, and then I did Dance Time, which was just an animation I did.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah, that was just one I did for fun. Was really happy with that, because I liked animating that. Did music stuff. Like syncing up to music was just always the funnest thing. But after that, it just kind of like my main channel's much more gone into the music angle than it used to be, and like in general, like a lot of the most recent songs are like all songs like I made completely myself. So yeah. That was my old character before I was the frog. There was that, and I will say the frog story we can save. Actually, I know that comes up in a later discussion, I think. But yeah, don't the wave dashing.
So you're moving away from collaborations. Like, are you still going to do any after Smooth Moves 2?
I do plan to host more collaborations, but I don't plan on participating in very many anymore. To be perfectly frank, I can animate, but I would not consider myself an animator in the sense that it's not what I have a passion for. It's something I enjoy, but that's as far as it goes. Mm-hmm. As far as like the process of animating, like myself, like me actually doing the animation, and I can do it. Sometimes I do enjoy doing it, but like I've met people who I know who are like, I could animate all day, dude. I could do this animation. I could just keep on animating and stuff like that. And I was like, and I think as well, what kind of a big wake up call was actually Shuriken. When Shuriken had his whole thing happen with when he made the announcement, when he talked with people about that, because I remember actually being in a VC when he was chatting about that as well. We were in the Oxford Valley at the time, and I remember that being a very interesting discussion. And then the video got released and all that, and I was like, huh, maybe and I was thinking about it as well. I was like, I'm forgetting kind of what it is I wanted to do in the first place, because what I wanted to do was directing, and I was forgetting that a little bit. And I still like to animate. I still like to draw. I like to draw a little bit more than I like animate. I like doing a little bit of both, but it's like, again, not like my passion. It is. I want to direct, more often than the actual like animation aspect of things.
So how long have you been into, this is kind of moving away from collaborations, but it seems like your interest in animation entirely is not as great as it used to be, but you have a studio for animation, right?
Yes, I have a studio. I didn't bring this up earlier, though, that I actually used to have a live action studio a while back.
Oh, wow.
But that never went anywhere, and only 2 videos were ever made. But again, a topic for another time. The animation studio. Am I allowed to talk about my stuff like that? Like, is that chill?
For your own studio, I would think so.
Okay, just making sure. But yeah, no. Fulton City Studio.
And
I'm sorry, I was advertising in BC. My bad. But yeah, Full Density Studio there's no videos on there at the moment. There were videos, but they've been removed as we have gone back into we're working on stuff at the moment. Full Density Studio is an animation studio that I am currently working on, where I plan to release a number of series such as Guy and Gal, The Bombshells, and a couple other ones, as well as eventually the major series that I want to release called Stride Tales. Yeah, Ink on Toast in the chat actually is my lead animator in Full Density. He's the lead animator, to be perfectly frank, on a lot of stuff. There's a number of people in there. Just like to give a thank you to a lot of people that Zeppelin X, Space Donut, Azure, because Full Density originally started. It was supposed to be me like paying people, and it was going to be that kind of a thing, a business, and unfortunately, I lost a number of my actual jobs that I had at the time, and not jobs. I worked as a video editor. I'm a professional video editor, and I lost that work, and because of that, I could not afford to keep people on for that anymore. So I ended up having to basically quit. I couldn't pay anybody, and I remember making a big announcement and be like, yo guys, I can't pay anybody anymore. Anyone who's still down to help or work on stuff with me, if you're down, understand it'd be volunteer work. And it was very wonderful seeing the number of people that were completely down to do that. People who were fully willing to take time out of their days, out of their schedules, just to work with me on a studio that I eventually want to turn into a business. I do want it to be an actual company, but it's when I say I'm gearing a little bit away from animation, it's not that I don't want to make animation in general. Is that I don't want to be an animator, if that makes sense.
You're getting away from behind the screen yourself. As far as animating,
as far as animating, I want to get a little bit behind. I want to get away from the pen, basically. Yeah. And so, and it's so that and again, there's times where it's okay, yeah, I gotta put in the work as well, to sometimes just to get certain things done in general. But yeah, my desires have gone into or just in a different direction than that. Yeah, Redaction as well. Redact, wonderful artist, and they're helping a lot with especially the cleanup and coloring, which is really, really nice. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I don't mean to go backtrack. Forgot to throw out there, if there's anybody that was a big inspiration for me, it was Alan Becker. Actually, I think that was actually the first stick figure content I ever started watching. Was Alan Becker. Was the I remember on YouTube when there were only two of the animator versus animation stuff, or animation versus animator stuff, and so I've been honestly watching them for a wild amount of time. But yeah.
Well, nice.
Okay, so now that you had a live action studio, you have a animation studio. But you kind of had a little bit of a shift once you kind of got into animating, and now you're leaning into film/directing. Is there anything that in particular that kind of got you to go that route? Anything that inspired you to get into film?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Is there anything specific that got you into film or directing? Was it seeing Alan's stuff that kind of made you want to go that route, or was there some other inspiration?
No, I wanted to be to get into film long before I even was watching stuff on YouTube. What got me into it would be, I would honestly say, things like Lord of the Rings, Narnia, almost any Mel Gibson film. There's a lot of my favorite actor, Jimmy Stewart. He's God rest his soul. He's a wonderful guy. Love it. He's one of my favorite actors, especially from old timey stuff. I was also raised on a lot of old films, Much Ado About Nothing. Or some even some black and white films, like Alfred Hitchcock was a staple name in the household. Not Insomnia. What was it? Vertigo. The Birds. There's a number of things, but film in general, films got me into wanting to make film, and then
okay.
YouTube got me into animation.
Right.
It was I think I don't remember at which point I just went directing is what I want. But I'm pretty sure
Right.
before I was even watching like stick figure stuff, directing was something I wanted to be. Like I had decided at one point, I was like, I want to be a director. I want to be a film director, and that was it. And then I kind of forgot that for a bit before finally coming back to it around the time I started watching a lot of Guilty Guy stuff. Actually, that's kind of what reminded me what I wanted to do, as well as seeing these people make stuff. I remember a big thing was like part of me wanted to make stick figures like much more of like a main media kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't say I have that motivation anymore. I just want to make film in general, and I want it to be
Right.
whatever the heck I want to make. And as an added thing as well, I wanted to make film with morals, frankly, because there's a lot of movies, a lot of films you see a lot of times, and personally, it a lot of times starts to feel like, even in like short films, whatever you're making, that it feels like a lot of film these days gear themselves towards like praising immoral stuff in general. Just in general, it like murder is funny, right? And I get the jokes. I still laugh at them. I still find a lot of them
Right.
funny. But it just the high saturation of just so many things that were heroes that really weren't heroes in a sense. And I'm a sucker for romance. I like classic romance stories. I like the superhero, heroes. Like I grew up on the old Superman cartoons. I like the knight in shining armor, that kind of stuff. And I know a lot of that stuff is outdated. But what's up?
It's kind of like it's like the Breaking Bad effect. It's when media on a bigger stage started to really look at kind of the bad guy as being the hero, and it kind of blurred the lines a little bit, and you see a lot more films kind of go for that anti-hero. So I get what you're saying, like along those lines,
Yeah, and I don't mind anti-heroes. I think
Right.
what gets me is when they take something that is obviously not good and they make it out to be a good thing. Is the idea?
Oh, okay.
Like I love Jack Horner from Puss in Boots. Like that, he's unapologetically evil, and it's hilarious. And that I enjoy. It's like they never make him out to be the good guy. He's funny, but he is a bad guy, and that's something that I like. Stuff like that. And so that's, I think, one of the big reasons I wanted to get into film was like it's like, technically, frankly, all film or all like media in some way has a message, in the sense that a person making it is thinking something when they make it. There's something going through their heads when they create maybe it's just, oh, I want to have fun. Oh, this is nice. Let's just enjoy life. Things like that. Even if it's an inadvertent message, people get a message from whatever. And I wanted to make sure that my message was like, sure, lines can get gray. There's going to be situations like that, but I want to bring back the ideas of films where there were heroes with ideals, and maybe they have weaknesses, and that's fine. Weaknesses are very important to making a character. But yeah, I think a big part of my inspiration to getting into film was being upset with how a lot of film is now.
Well, like there is something to be taken from the fact that because you are seeing things that don't align with what you usually prefer, it is nice to have a stark contrast that allows you to have clarity on what you do want to create. Because sometimes people just want to create, but the first step for them to take is, what is it going to be like? So at least with that, you kind of have this direction, even if the details aren't hashed out. You have somewhat of a framework that you can head towards, which is cool, because like I said, a lot of times people have a really hard time just taking that first step. They know they want to make something, but at least you can identify what are the things you don't like and head away from those things and kind of start on that path.
Yeah, I know what path I don't want to go down, and
Right.
that is very helpful. Yeah, so yeah, I've got a direction that I'm trying to go, and I hope, honestly, I'm thinking 2025 is likely going to be the year that things get going, but I've been saying that for 2024 as well. I'm trying. It's difficult, but yeah. And hey, as a side thing, I've got other options, but yeah, if things don't go through, there are other things I like as well.
So do you have, speaking about stuff that you do like, do you have any live action stuff that you've done or directed that you're most proud of?
I do, but it's not. I don't think any of it's been uploaded on like a YouTube video. I think it's the. I believe
you're killing
none
me.
of it. Well, that I don't. Wait a minute. One of them was. Hold on a minute. I think it's on the
That's
Clips
more
channel.
like it.
I think it's on the Clips channel. Let me check. I'm pretty sure I did a combat thing with a friend, and I think it's uploaded. And if it's not, it might be unlisted. Why would it be unlisted though? I would have posted it. I'm trying. Yeah. Okay. No. There's actually. I'm just realizing there's not a lot of videos on my channel, but on either of them. I thought it was uploaded. Apparently, it's not. So yeah. No. And frankly, with what I'm doing with the animation stuff as well, I've had to take a step away from the live action because. It's, with the animation stuff, I can get somebody who's working in Jamaica to help me, or in Australia to help me do stuff. But it's like, if I want to do live action, I need actively 2 other people present in front of me right there.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot harder to get people in real life when everyone now is just on the internet.
Right. I have very little live action content, if any, which I think is why none of it's been posted, because none of it was really done. And so I have the videos, but I it's the ones I think I sent you guys, but they're not, but I don't have any YouTube ones, sadly.
Darn.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But hey,
do you have any that you're working on in the works right now? Like anything that you're working on right now?
At the moment, no. I don't currently have any live action stuff that I'm working at this moment. I'm purely working on the animation stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. But I will be going back to live action at a point. Like my goal at the moment is to get the animation stuff self-sustainable. And once it is self-sustainable, I want to move to other things. I already have an idea for a comic studio I wanted to make, because I have a comic series, and then live action especially. I think once the animation studio is up and running and doing itself, like it's doing well on its own, I'm probably going to start gearing my changing gears into live action on my own.
Okay. So like if someone right now wanted to see some of your work, some of the studio work, where would you go? Where does one go to find BestFrog's work?
If somebody wanted to see the work for full density, the episode, nothing's been released yet is the only problem with that. But if you were looking to like get updates on it, I do have a completely public Discord server called the Lily Pad. I don't think I sent the link to that.
I'm in it. Hang on.
You're in it. Yeah, you have it.
I was in the war. Oh, we gotta talk about the Warble. We don't have that on here.
We don't.
Is that the head tennis story?
No. We could squeeze that in somewhere.
Warble, we can get that in there.
Here it is. Okay, I gotta get this on screen.
See. Yeah. But yeah. Yay. Yippee. But yeah, if you want to see announcements, that is likely where stuff will be like thrown into, especially for full density. And there is eventually going to be a Patreon released for the for full density as well. There's nothing there at the moment for the most part. There is a full density Patreon, but the stuff on there, like anybody, if you guys want to throw some money our way, feel free to. But it's there's not much there at the moment. But yeah, what was that? Trying to think. Yeah, that's if you do just want to see content in general, frankly, I don't post that much right now because I'm working on the full density stuff. I'm making thumbnails for Jacksonian, but other than that,
Hmm.
but yeah.
Do you use
think,
your main channel much anymore?
If you're looking for music, that's likely where it's going to end up. And in fact, I think we have a Halloween track that hasn't been released yet that I'm planning to put on there. So,
You missed it.
I missed it.
Yeah,
I
you
missed
missed
I know.
it,
I'm
yeah.
aware.
Only by a little bit.
I made the track. There was going to be an animation, but our lead animator didn't have a computer. So at the time, for some or something, it was either that or his tablet had been messed up. One or the other. So it's his fault. He's in trouble. I can't believe he didn't just do it on paper.
Well, the best part is he's no longer late. Now he's just really early.
Right. So like part of me is wondering, like, do we just hold off on it and post it next year? But we are working on a Christmas thing. But yeah, we are working on a Christmas thing. So hopefully that'll be out in December, because it's supposed to be.
I would hope so. It's gonna release in January.
Yeah.
You sigh knowing that you might be true.
Oh, I will say, if you are looking for more like, constant updates and stuff, I do have a Blue Sky account. Just the BestFrog. It's easy to find. And yeah, I believe there's some stuff I'm gonna be doing on there that people might actually be able to do some commission stuff on, like eventually down the line. But
There you go.
let's see.
So you've spoken a little bit about YouTube, kind of where people will be able to find your work. And then also now a little bit about your Discord and Blue Sky. Is there a platform that you're trying to like build up, or where you have a funnel where everything's going to? Is it going to be YouTube? Is it going to be somewhere else?
The two places that I think I'd like to have be like the most popular as far as like funnel things down to are the Full Density YouTube channel and the Lilypad Discord server.
Okay.
Those two things the most, because earlier this year when I was doing Warbles every single week, because the Warble got put on hold for a while. I was doing Warbles every week. I was doing Game Shack with Pieman and what's Izuchi, right? Is that his name? Something. But when I was doing that, I was doing basically like 3 events every week on the Discord server, and there were like people who would constantly be showing, backup and stuff like that. Yu Ishizaki, that was it. Yu Ishizaki, Pieman, and myself had a Don't Starve Together series, and we were just playing Don't Starve Together every week for a while. It wasn't like recording or posting. It was just something I did specifically on Discord, because I realized, I was like, wait a minute, I don't really have a Twitch community, and I do want to actually start doing stuff on Twitch, but I've been told that I am fairly entertaining live. Like I can be entertaining live, which just as much, because like, some people, it's like, it's easier to be entertaining with like a lot of editing and stuff like that. But I'm a huge extrovert, very excited, like very just physical, excitable person. And so because of that, I have a decent live personality, if that makes sense. Like ever since I got decent enough internet, you most of the time will not see me without my webcam off. With my webcam off, like I almost always just turn my webcam on no matter where I'm at. So, but I realized, I was like, yo, I've not really got a Twitch community. What if I just started streaming on Discord? People know me on there, and so I just started doing streaming on Discord instead, and it honestly was a lot easier. I have recently figured out how to do like the Twitch stuff, especially after switching to OBS. I'm sorry, people. I used to use Streamlabs. Please forgive me. But yeah, I switched to OBS, made things 100 times easier, and I've got I ended up making a bunch of stuff for that. So I do think a lot of the stuff, I don't think I mentioned this as far as like things we were going to discuss, but I know one of the things I dream of doing is hosting gaming tournaments, like Rivals of Ether, stuff like that. I really want to do live hosting for stuff like that. It's like, all right, everybody, because I do the news voice, like, hello, everybody, and welcome to another game. We've got people on the left, people on the right, and let's see how it goes. That kind of stuff. And so it was a big thing that I wanted to get into. So that's why I have the Warble. But yeah, the Discord server and the Full Density YouTube channel are probably the two biggest things that I want to get people like really a part of. It's honest. It's really difficult to keep consistency, especially on the Discord server. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those are the two things that I want mostly to get people like known to like look into.
So you mentioned earlier about the Warble, but I don't think we've actually properly brought it up and mentioned what it is. This isn't in our notes, but I figured it's a pretty big part of your brand and your community. So you want to tell us what the Warble is?
So you see, let me tell you a little bit about the Warble. Listen, so it's where everyone and everything is on the table. There's so much to do. It's really hard to put a label on the Wednesday Warble with the best.
The Wednesday Warble, the best frog.
The best frog. So about 2 years ago, I one day was like, I like to talk to people. Screw it, I'm gonna start hosting events. And I started hosting events on Discord. And I started asking people to come on those events with me. 5 of those episodes were never recorded, I'm pretty sure. They were never I didn't even think about it. I was just like, I'm gonna just do it. I'm just gonna do it. And I started doing it. And after that happened, I started doing it every week. Doing more Wednesday. The Wednesday Warble is a podcast where it started off with just me talking, but now I get people on that show and I chat with them. And I started just doing episode after episode after episode, and a solid year. There were sometimes a week or so I'd have to take a break. Things happen, but for a solid year, I did a good 40 episodes. 40 episodes happened, as well as what up?
Wow.
That's more than us.
And I'm starting up again. So there's gonna be in the next coming weeks like 5 more episodes are gonna be like released pretty closely together.
Yeah, you have community guests, like guests from the community come on there, right? Like you've had Hyun, Pluto.
I've had Sean Pluto. I've had you 3 separate times.
Yeah. I have been on there 3 times.
I have had 2 Warbles with Uncle Salad, another Minecraft animator that I'm a huge fan of. I've had, I believe, Chiz on there. I've had Lizzie Doodle, who's a big art person. I've had Emmy Wow. I've had Hyun. I've had Loonsar on there. I've had, like we already said, I've had Pluto. I've had Milk, who is a guy from I'm pretty sure it's a brony podcast called the Barcast, which this year they stopped doing episodes, sadly, but it is what it is. But it was an interesting thing. I've had a lot of people from different things, primarily artists and animators, because that's the community I'm part of. But I've had a lot of different people. I've had Atena, I've had Apollo, Soapy, I've had LFO, I've had artists, I've had animators, I've had VTubers. I've been recently trying to get more VTubers. I remember getting Hitsuji on there because they were a VTuber. And the funniest part to me is a lot of these interviews would happen because I would just message the person out of the blue, and I'd be like, "Yo, bro, want to do this?" And I remember, I do have to tell this story. Hitsuji, right? Artist, they do a lot of them's fighting herd stuff. They're art VTuber, and the way I got them on the Warble, right, is I remember asking them, "Yo, you want to be on the Warble?" No, sorry, I asked their friend, "Yo, bro, you want to be on the Warble?" They were an artist, and they're like, "Hey, man, I'm not super comfortable with talking with people and stuff like that, so never mind. No, thank you." And I was like, no worries. I fully understand. I get it. And then shortly after, I noticed that person was streaming with another artist, being Hitsuji, and I was like, okay, I've got this. Hitsuji, yo, you want to be on this thing? And they said, I'm sorry, I'm not interested right now. And I was like, does that mean you might be interested in the future? And they said, maybe. I came back a month later and asked them again. And I know some people might say, it's like, that's not the smartest idea. Look, I got a job once from pestering someone for 2 years straight. And I got the job is the crazy part. So it's just the way I do things for the most part. Ask people, I message them. I was like, yo, you want to be part of this? And if they say no, they say no. But they might say yes later. Who knows? But yeah, the Warble is probably one of my biggest things as well. It was doing a lot better, honestly, when I was doing the art myself. Not that Frost isn't doing a good job, but it's just recently I realized that it's very difficult to do that. So I will say, for anybody who does know the Warble as well, if I hit 100 episodes on the Warble, like eventually, then I'm planning to do like a full like kind of rebrand, and there's not going to be seasons anymore. There's going to be a specific art that I use, and I'm going to stick with that consistent style from then forward, just forward from there. So here's hoping we get to 100 episodes. What's up?
I just cut to something on the screen earlier than I should have.
Okay. What have you done? But yeah, I think one of my favorite Warbles though was definitely I had a Wednesday Warble event as a season exclusive, where I had 6 different people all in this chat where we were talking about like tabletop roleplay games. Mike Tastic, Milk, LFO, and Animator,
geez.
Cypher, Apollo, and Beardy Arts. So bunch of different people from different communities, and I got them all together, and we did a big D&D thing. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. Scheduling that was the worst thing I've ever done. I've had Stealth and his whole studio. I've had Stealth, King, and Akira, and KJ all in the Warble as well.
We should probably move on. I've let you go on.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You're gonna. Yeah. I should probably. Sorry. Yeah.
We have other things to talk about, and then we have questions. I want to make sure that we get to everything on time. In other words, shut the hell up.
Oh!
No, I'm kidding. Oh man, I mean, we kind of already passed animation discussion, and I realized I'd just stolen your segment, Stone.
No, you're okay. Go for it.
All right.
We're in the hobbies, mate. We're in the hobbies now.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. But like, oh wait, is this last bullet point? Do we skip over that sometime?
Yeah. We're right here.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Hobbies.
I'm just here, guy.
Oh man, I'm a mess. Hobbies. What hobbies do you have?
Got a segue to hobbies because he spoke about the kind of scheduling for D&D.
Yeah.
I actually don't do anything. I'm sorry you had to find out this way.
I don't have fun outside of like outside of my
outside of my work. I do not exist.
Yeah. No, that's me. Oh my god, that's so me though.
So, to be perfectly frank, D&D is like the other half of my life. I'm gonna be straight up with you. That is like I wouldn't even call it a hobby at this point. That it is the other half of my life. About 4 years ago, 4 maybe 5 actually. Now we're getting near the end of the year. So about 5 years ago, a friend of mine, Apollo, I met him on the Oxa Valley. And, we started chatting for a bit. We got to stuff in general. And he was on the alley with a bunch of people, and he was like, yo, guys, I want to host D&D. I want to get everyone together, do a big thing. And that's also how I think I met OP. And we were like, oh, okay, sick. And I was like, you know what? I'm so interested in this. And I do want to preface this real quick. I am a Catholic, and a lot of people, I believe there's a lot of people, religious people, don't like D&D in general. Thing I learned, I was like, okay, so how do people feel about this in general? And I learned that it's not necessarily that they don't like it. It's just there's a lot of people who, religious people who just don't know anything about it. They don't have an opinion whatsoever, which was a wild thing for me to discover. So, either way, I started getting into D&D. He invited a bunch of people, and I was like, yo, bro, count me in. I join in. and I played my first D&D game, and honestly, I kind of just fell in love with it because I like roleplay. I do like roleplay, making stories and stuff like that. But like I was part of a lot of roleplay servers, and I always like looked for the ones that were a lot more like serious, where you were actually like building stories. And so there's a number of places I'd gone. There was one, the Yggdrasil server or something, that had like this insane story I'd made or whatever with this other guy. But the point is, when I got into D&D, I realized like this is a way to do the thing to do that thing I've already been enjoying, making stories and just enjoying these stories with friends and stuff like that. And D&D really just started to hit me around this time. So started playing it. And for those of you who don't know the kind of like how, just D&D works, it's a tabletop roleplay game. You usually have a group of players, and then you have a person known as a dungeon master or a DM who kind of like, the DM makes the world, the players make the characters, and then they get to, there's a lot of like, you roll dice to see how well you do and stuff. It's a lot of stuff. It's easier to understand like once you've actually been playing it. But that being said, once I got into it, stuff started just happening. Hey yo, the DM hates me down there. That's Apollo. That is Apollo, actually. I didn't even know he knew this was happening. That's the guy who got me into D&D. It's his fault. And he hosted a game where, and this is a big moment in my life as well. I played, my first character was a guy called Bartholomew Cumbersome, who was a elf. Right? Elf monk, he would punch people, he was a butler, had a lot of fun. But then I had this moment where I was really like considering like, yo, is this really, is this okay for me to do? And I laid a lot of soul searching, like religiously speaking, like, did I want to continue to be playing this? And eventually I determined, yes, I do. I think it's fine. It's all right. And from that, I came back and I was like, okay, can I make a new character? Is that okay? And the character I ended up making was Ferdinand with the PH instead of an F, but it was Ferdinand the Frog. And that's when the frog came into being, pretty much. Made the character, started playing as this, and on that server that we were on, we just started to I just started going by the frog name a lot more often. Over time, people just started to recognize it by that. And there's an artist named Blackie Sheepy, I believe. And she is, I would say, the real big reason that I kept with the frog. She drew an art piece that was, I can send it real quick. She drew an art piece of my character, of the frog. But what she did instead was she drew me as like it was supposed to be like, I think like a mobster character or something. And she drew me as a frog. And this was the art she did. I'll send it real quick in the thing.
Oh yeah.
And when I saw that, and I just fell in love, dude. I was like,
that's the best frog.
That's the best frog right there. And that is the best frog. And I just started, and I think maybe within a year, everything I had started becoming frog themed. Everything changed over. It was kind of like that thing, how sort of like a lot of times you're looking for that niche that is you, like what shows you as the individual, right? What makes you a person, or not a person, but like, what is your persona online, right? What is the thing that people know you as? And I, for a long time, was searching for whatever that would be. My grandmother is outside. Give me a quick second. I have to open the door for her. Hold on.
Well, now that he's gone, what horrible things do you want to say about him?
Is he the best frog?
Yeah, is there? He might be the mediocre.
Have we polled this? Have we polled? Is there more? Is there
That's
more
a good
frog?
Hang on, yeah, I'm gonna poll
that.
this. One second.
I'm back.
Is there a better frog?
Shush.
Huh?
We weren't saying anything.
No, I get it. But yeah, the frog, that's where the frog came from. And over time, just everything converted over. The GAC server became the lily pad, and from that point forward, I just started. And plus, the thing is, I always liked the color green in general. Like, the green was a color I liked, but I never had a I think my first like stick figure character was like my first like stick like quote unquote Sona was a green stick figure. So, from that point forward, it just became, oh my goodness, 79%. Who voted no? It's okay. I understand. I'll find you. I'm gonna find you. But yeah, no. Over time, that's what ended up happening. It was also during that year that I made Space and Dice. I don't think I mentioned this. I forgot to send the link for that because I wasn't sure like how much we were gonna actually be able to talk about like the D&D stuff. But this I've just sent it is the Galaxy Masters layer, which is where I ended up making my own version of D&D, like a completely custom thing. And there's a couple campaigns I hosted that some of them aren't uploaded on there, but I know there's the Little Buddy Saga. There was Rounding Corners, The Taste of Salt, and then Rounding Corners, Island of Sins, 2 different like series. And that was another thing that I really started getting into was hosting, and making videos out of these. It was definitely something I really, really enjoyed, like doing just in general. It was a lot of fun.
Oh wow.
Oh, the trailer, yeah, that trailer for one I fully animated that. I remember making that for the trailer before the actual like episodes were uploaded. These were all characters.
Oh, so this is like the intro?
Yeah, this was the intro. I fully animated like an intro for the series. Yeah, for the yeah. What I tell you, I take my TTRPGs a little bit too seriously, and then at the was that the I didn't have it in the, let me see. Oh, that's the episode. There's a episode, a video before that, The Island Sins, the trailer animation. If you go to the end of that one, there's an artist who did all the art, and it shows their like stuff, okay. And so I want to make sure I want Worry Word did some amazing work for everybody. It was, and yeah. Best part is I'm still friends with all of these people as well. Yeah. Okay. Ink. I'm sorry. I got to talk about Ink real quick because since I started Space and Dice, right? I started Space and Dice, then he showed up on a private server I have, and he hasn't left. Bro's like a parasite. He's been part of everything I've done now. We're stuck together, joined at the hip. We hate each other. We're absolute enemies. All right. The absolute enemies. Yeah, nah. You heard me, Ink. Yeah. Apollo's cool though. DM hates me. He's cool. We're cool. Corbin, Dallas, and Crash were hilarious. Crash was OP's character. But anyway, Space and Dice. I got into Space and Dice. I started making it. Space and Dice is a completely custom system. I'm pretty sure that's over 200 pages of information that I had made myself. A lot of it's been worked on with the help of Ink as well. Again, bro's got his nose in everywhere now. But then I believe there was also the Duperverse system that got made. But then I started hosting my own just like straight up D&D games, which were I started using like a lot of like homebrew stuff in general. And having stuff that was already pre-made made a lot of things easier. And honestly, like it's been a long time since I haven't been hosting a D&D game, to be honest. Like I'm almost always hosting something at some point nowadays. I have 2 campaigns that I myself am hosting right now. Sorry, 3 if I'm including Forever On, which are a lot of cool things. And on that note as well, there is a possibility I might end up going into DMing as a career, because you can actually make some pretty serious money through there. Because it turns out people like me who like DMing more than they like playing is rare. Not a lot of, most people like to play D&D, not host D&D, and I love hosting D&D. So, but yeah, no, D&D was it's a huge part of my life. Honestly, it's I love it. It's a lot of fun. And recently, actually, Laurie King, Laurie who's in the chat right now, King and V, Jamberton, and a couple other people I met at a convention recently, and I hosted my first real life game, like D&D game, like in person rather than online, which
fun.
was really cool, which was a lot of fun. I don't know. I want to do that again. It's so much fun. It's a lot of fun.
It is. D&D's a blast.
Yeah, Stone, you've played D&D?
Yes, actually, when I had my store, I played D&D every Friday for like 4 or 5 years, and we ran only and we live streamed everything for like 5+ hours a night, or every Friday night, and it was just so much fun. If you ever get a chance to play D&D, I told myself when I had the store and I never played D&D ever, that if I had someone come up to me with gusto that's like, I want to play D&D, that I would say yes. And I'm super glad that we did, and it became like a huge part of our store because you can't beat it. One of the highlights being, and then we actually uploaded this too, was I got to play D&D with Sean Chemmel, and he's the voice actor for Goku. And he actually was Goku at one point during the session, which was just so much fun.
That's amazing.
Oh man, that must have been like a dream come true for someone.
It was. It was. All of us were like just
man.
absolutely floored, because we were playing normal D&D, and then our DM summoned like a troll god essentially, and then so his character, who was from a different dimension, called over someone he knew, and Goku basically was fighting the god character. And it's funny because we'd have turns in D&D where it'd go to our turn, and they're like, "Do you want to attack?" We're like, "No." And like, "Okay, back to you, Goku." And then, because it's like the highest level creature you could possibly have in D&D. Like, we were level like 4 or something. It was not on. It was not something we fight, but Goku was having fun, So yeah, D&D is a lot of fun. If you ever get a chance, just don't be afraid. Dive head first and just go for it. It's actually a genuinely great way to spend your time.
Yeah, it's really fun. But
I've played only once. I had a friend group from school. I had a friend group from school who was really into D&D, but like I never got generally interested in it, so I never took them up on it. But then someone asked me if I wanted to do a little campaign.
Worst mistake of my life. Let me be very clear. All right. Okay, hold on. Let me put it this way, right? I've had a player who came to a session plastered, and I've had a player who was not a team player and was really just a jerk to everyone, just really mean and all that, right? You're not on that list, Hatena, but you were a candidate as well as Lunsar.
Damn.
So it was you, Lunsar, Blue, and because Stom couldn't make it, TJ Rice Paper. Yeah. And when I tell you, let me put it this way, all right? Apollo listened in for a little bit, right? And he's my fellow, like, oh, we take D&D a little seriously. We make a story out of it. And I was like, he was like, yo, bro, could I pop in as a thing? I was like, yo, bro, listen in first, because I don't think you're gonna want to.
Was he right? Were you right?
I was absolutely correct, because he was like, later he was telling me, bro, I think he's like, I thank you for telling me not to participate. And it was, here's the thing. Hatena, you're great. All right. I love you, buddy. You, Loonstar, you're my friends. I'm cool. It's chill. But you're not D&D players.
Oh, no.
I say, okay, the worst part is I could think of like the quote unquote bad stereotype of like bad D&D player stereotypes for each of you. Lunsar, he wasn't there half the time, like mentally, because he kept playing games during the session.
Yeah, that's the worst. Like trying to grip everyone's attention and really pull them into the story, and you need everyone involved, so they're inputting, and someone's just like on their phone. They're like, "Yeah, so is it my turn to attack? We're not attacking anything. All right, let me know." Yeah,
it wasn't even that. I was like, "Yo, Lunsar," and I hear the Minecraft pick up the sound effect, and I'm like. I'm like, what?
His character was so damn unserious.
And yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he was literally God, and then he died. It was an isekai, and I was And then Hatena,
Oh man.
you hit me with that stupid table, bro.
No, it was a nightstand.
Nightstand, table, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Bro, as the DM, it is my job to make sure the players are following some semblance of rules that exist, some semblance of reality that I have to keep track of. And when this man says, okay, so I build an end table, and I'm like, what, wait, huh? And you're like, yeah, I built an end table. And that, it just evolved into me being like, no, you don't understand. You don't. And then you got people to vote against me about this. You got people to vote. Like, hold on. No, we're going into this. You got people to basically
I
gang
brought
up on
democracy into your game without your permission.
You brought democracy into the game. And I was like, bro, I was breaking. It was a rebellion.
Yeah.
TJ, the two best players there, I would say, were TJ and Blue. Because in
by
Blue,
far.
I saw because he started getting this idea, like, oh, that's how D&D works. So I could see Blue becoming like a D&D player, like, more common. Because I know he also does like some roleplay related stuff, or at the very least, he likes making stories. So stuff like that. What was it? And then TJ already had history in like D&D. He's a reactive player still, but I love the way he plays stuff. He's a lot of fun, very hilarious. The crazy part about that is I remember I invited you guys into a Space and Dice campaign, but it wasn't going to be for a long time. So then I invited you guys to a D&D campaign, and we did that one. And after that campaign, I completely scrapped the Space and Dice one I planned for you guys. I have the concept. But what it taught me though, I think on a less, me, trashing on you right now thing, what it taught me though is that different friend groups are different friend groups for a reason. It's like, these are the people you hang out for this reason. These are the people you hang out for this reason. If I want to if I am like in the mood to draw or animate, or like I'm working on something, I'll join the synced Discord. I'll join up with you guys, stuff like that. If I want to work on a D&D thing, or if I just kind of want to relax, I'd say I would join my private server, hang out there. And I have different servers where I hang out with specific people. And that campaign did teach me. I already knew to be careful about players because I've had some really like much worse player situations in the past. To the point, like I don't think you've ever seen me like legitimately mad before, Atena. Someone got me mad to the point. It was a bad situation.
The session after the nightstand one, you had to like disclaimer before we got into the session on that next session.
Yeah.
You were pretty irritated, at least.
I was a little upset. It was, I was a little upset, but I also understood that like asking you to take it super seriously wasn't exactly fair because I'd also established that this is going to be just for fun, and I did want to and I was keeping it for fun, but it did just teach me like, okay, there does have to be a structure, and that's just something that I had to learn. I just had to, and I think I've improved as a DM from that. I think I've learned a lot from that, and it's just.
I'd like to add to that story a bit. Some extra context. There was so the reason I was not a great D&D player was because I intentionally wanted to do everything in my power to not do what you wanted us to do. Which is why I brought democracy into the campaign. Oh yeah, no, I wanted to make his life as
standpoint is awful.
Yeah, I wanted him to be miserable, and I achieved. I was maybe a little too successful because then like I don't even think we got to like 5 full sessions before he's just like, no, we're not doing this anymore. We didn't even finish the campaign. I started a group chat with everyone that was participating except for Frog here, telling them like, because like I understand story, I know how to pick up on story, and I know how to pick up on details that you want to push us towards. Like you had us in a village with a lot, like obviously there was a lot that was intended for us to interact with. And so instantly I went to the group chat and I was like, all right, we're leaving the village immediately and we're making our own society in the wilderness. And then you tried to put like caves for us to go into. And then I was like, nope, don't even step foot in those caves.
Nope, don't care about those. Okay, then here is someone that approaches you. He is very knowledgeable and important. Fireball. What? Yeah, no, fireball that guy.
Yeah, no, I did everything in my power to avoid anything he wanted us to do. And I feel bad about it. I do feel bad about it because I think it was too much of a fuck you move.
I will say yes. I was a bit perturbed at the situation. But honestly, I feel like there's things like that happen. There's lack of communication sometimes, things like that happen, it's sometimes things go too far, and I'm okay with it. I get it. Because the other, I think, big thing was I couldn't punish you because until you were upset about the dog, I was like, there's nothing I can do that he will care about. And then you were like, my dog. And I was like, oh. And I was like, but I think the big reason, I think, especially though, is just like from like just D&D in general, you don't want D&D to become player versus DM, the players versus the DM, because
you want to be the players in the world. That's the ideal scenario. Is you want them to be playing in the world, not playing to just play against you.
Yeah, and I will say, it's in a like I've forgiven. We're chill. It's all cool. I'm over it at this point. But yeah, it was something that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was definitely an experience. I believe, funny enough though, you going out and building that house, I hate to say it, but you ended up inspiring me to make an entire system for building player houses that gave buffs.
Yeah, so it was ultimately a positive effect.
In the end, there was a positive effect, yes, and it's a pretty good system. I'm pretty happy with it. But what was it? We're not going to even talk about the fact that you had Stone when he asked me if he could have minuses to everything rather than rolling his stats.
Oh my.
Yeah, I wanted to be. Everyone else is like there was a god. There was what was Blue? He was like some like
he was no, he was a homeless man.
He was a homeless man. Well, but like then in the isekai, yeah, he became an elf ninja. But I went from being a guy to just still the same guy.
Yeah,
that's just the level of. Well, so I was more so. Well, I was more so going for like funny. I don't care, and like funny, kind of going against the DM. I didn't realize that it impacted you negatively for a bit.
Nah. I get you. And things happen. But yeah, what was it? Yeah, after that all like fiasco happened, and then the minuses to the rolls. I will say that in of itself was funny. It was 100 times funnier that Stone, when I tell you the son of a gun had so many natural 20s.
I did. I had so many natural 20s.
So good.
He's all nat 20. All right, what's that? Okay, does 14 hit? No. You have a minus 6 in the category to hit, so he still doesn't get on a nat 20 still.
I do crits is the thing. I always do it. Like if I see a nat 20, unless it's initiative, if I see a nat 20, I'm like, oh, automatically successful. And so it was. Oh man. On a little side note, though, Stone, if you ever want to do a game as well, I've got. If you ever do Space and Dice, fun thing I think you would like. It's a 2d10 system instead of a d20. But yeah. But yeah. A lot of games.
Right.
I didn't quit D&D. I've not quit D&D.
I'm glad I didn't impact you that much.
Yeah, no. There was actually an event where I almost quit D&D, and it was because the reason why was because I had something happen in a session that made a player tear up and like made them like actually like cry, and I was like, oh shoot, what did I do wrong and whatnot. But it was that first time was me not fully understanding the kind of stuff that my players would want to get out of like a campaign. And so I was like, that was like early DM stuff. And that impacted me pretty negatively because like I thought I had just, you know, messed that person up really badly. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to host ever again. I don't want to host again. But then down the line, I had some other experiences that were a little bit different, and I have had people cry in sessions, but
wow.
but I've had people cry in sessions in a like an emotional aspect. There's like a character there's scene where they couldn't remember what had happened to their friend in it was like a detective case thing, and they eventually like found out that they had blocked the memory of they themselves had gotten the person killed, and that flashback scene, I was told later that they apparently, when playing in the scene, had like broken into tears, and I was like, "Whoa, we're not talking about the cockpit ink. We're not talking about that. I can't. Moving on.
Right.
That's a different story.
We've got to pivot.
Yeah.
We've been going on for a while. We have an animation to look at to spotlight. But while we're looking at this, chat, there is the question bubble for those who are watching live. Feel free to ask some questions over there, either for Cam or BestFrog. I call him Cam, or Stone or myself. But yeah, let's. We have a special animation from a good member of the community, TJB. They remade, I believe this is a recreation of their original broke floor animation, and they released their most recent one. But I want to avoid watching that one until we hopefully eventually get them on the podcast, because I think they'd be great.
I know him.
Yeah.
I know them. Oh my goodness.
I know that guy.
But yeah, so here's their animation that they've released about a month ago. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, TJB's always been fantastic at stick figure choreography, but more importantly, like physics.
Yeah. TJB's we always used to joke about him being the physics animator, like a living physics engine.
Yeah, living physics engine. Oh, and everything is on ones.
Yeah,
I feel like every animator has their phase where they go on only twos for a while, and they have only ones for a while, until they eventually learn a good middle ground.
Yeah.
But I feel like
I don't think
theirs is just. I mean, theirs is like mostly ones. I feel like there's got to be some twos, maybe some threes on the rare occasion.
I've seen some of his I've seen some of his framework. He does do twos and threes now and then, but it is primarily ones. Oh my goodness, yeah, nah. A lot of like really minute like movements. Oh my goodness.
I love that.
I think I remember one of my I think favorite animations was made inspired by one of TJB's like works, or like watching like his like stuff to get like good at it.
That's really impressive too, right there. That walking loops are much harder than you might think.
Yeah, no, legitimately.
To make them look and feel natural.
Yeah, it's funny because that's like one of the first basic tests that you have to learn as an animator. You don't have
to. It is, and I think it's a horrendous first test because it's genuinely quite difficult. I mean, it just has all the aspects of what you want to learn, and that's why it makes it important. But oddly enough, run cycles are way easier to do. Oh my god,
they're so easier because there's such faster actions. So you don't have to worry about the minute details and the in-betweens as much because there's so much distance in between each frame. But when you're doing a walk cycle, you can't escape that. That's all there is.
No, it's very technical. It's a very technical thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to even get good at run cycles.
Yeah. Yeah, walk cycles are their own breed.
Yeah, but I think it is very helpful to learn to do that very early on. It does teach you a lot. But yeah, man. All right, we'll go ahead and take some questions.
All right, I'm excited. I'm curious what people submitted.
Hatena360 asks, can you give me like $1,000?
Interesting. Yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's a good question personally. Okay, no. Okay, for real.
The answer to your question, no.
No. Yeah. No, it's not fair. I want money.
Oh, okay, not fair.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank
better
you.
actually. Wait, you said can. Yes, I can. No, I won't.
Oh, the semantics. Whatever.
Oh man.
RS asks, what are some easily avoidable mistakes when it comes to directing/managing?
One of the easiest mistakes you can make is being too quote unquote being too friendly, in the sense of, especially if you're paying people, you're making a transaction, which means you're paying them to get what you expect to get, what you're expecting them to put work into. I learned, especially through collabs, that you have to be hard on people sometimes. You have to be willing to say, because I'm non-confrontational, but sometimes you have to tell somebody like, hey, if you're not going to do the work, I can get somebody else. I will look. It might be difficult, but it's an interest. But even if it's not that, it's like understanding that, just in general, sometimes you don't have to be mean, but you can't be lax with like getting people to work and stuff like that, because your job
you're saying that they should be direct.
Yes, they should be direct. You're being a director, you need to be direct with what it is you want. And I had a serious problem with that. I'm not gonna lie. There were times where I was like, oh yeah, you can take a little longer. Oh yeah, that's fine. Especially, but granted, those were for collabs. No one was getting paid. But it was even in collabs, it's like people are like, yo, bro, I want to be part of this thing. And it's like if someone's asking to be a part of something, then they should be expected to put in the effort that they are offering to put in. And so, and especially it especially goes for the case of when talking about like an actual like studio thing, or like with directing. So yeah, biggest mistake I'd say when it comes to directing is not actually not actually being direct with people. So
yeah, I mean, I think to piggyback off of that, it's very awkward early on when you're starting to manage a project of any kind, and you just kind of feel like you want to let people do their own thing. Like, you give them an assignment, and then they just you're expecting them to just go and do it right the first time, and then you get that progress back, and it's not quite what you're expecting, but you don't want to tell them no, like to go back and redo that work. That part's so awkward, but it's so necessary to build that wall of expectation, and it's okay to ask for revisions.
Asking. I think that was probably the other thing as well. That was very like difficult to just get. It's like, okay, I have to tell people to do stuff, and I have to make sure they understand that if it's not up to the standard we're looking for, then it needs to either be redone or done by someone else.
Yep. Yeah, and that can always be a very awkward conversation. But unfortunately, that's what you sign up for in that position. It's a lot of communication.
Yeah.
Redact asks, out of every D&D campaign you've been in or hosted, which one was your favorite to be a part of? Campaign does not have to be finished to count.
I think the best one is the one I'm hosting right now, which is the Mortality campaign. I made a custom system for D&D that was magicless. There are no spells, there's no magic. Instead, people can craft the effects of spells if they have material components. And health is much lower than it normally would be. Now, the campaign itself, decent, but the reason why it's such a good campaign is I have 4 of the best D&D players I think I've ever... Actually, sorry, 5. 5 of the best D&D players I've ever played with. They're all people I vibe with. They're people I get along with really well, and they're all really good at, like, really enjoying D&D. Them being Apollo, Cypher, Mod Cree, and I probably shouldn't say his real name, Gobblegang. It's weird. I know him as his real name more so than his online name.
Yeah,
but then Gobblegang,
people like that.
Yeah. And then as well, Ink on Toast is partially in that campaign, but I hate to stoke his ego a little bit, but he is one of the better D&D players just in general that I've ever had.
Nah, let it get to
I
your
think
head.
a close second. I would say a good close second is the one I'm hosting right now called Forever On, because it's a much more like chill campaign, and King is a great player as well. Once I did his interview and he started playing D&D with us, he was like, "Oh, he's part of the troop now. He's part of the gang."
Whoa. Well, you
So,
have to
yeah.
interview people for D&D?
No. He was on Wednesday Warble, and from there, then I brought him in.
Okay.
That's how from there I got to know him. I was like, "Yo, you play D&D?" I was like, "Yeah, I love D&D." And I was like, "All right, sick, let's do this." And then I do think one of the best campaigns I hosted was Bortani, but I'd say it's a toss up between Bortani, Mortality, and Forever On. Those three are at the top.
Gotcha. Solomon asks, or Solomon, I think he called me out in a reply to one of my comments on YouTube, saying it's not Solomon, Solomon, it's Solomon. So sorry, Solomon. No, but Solomon asks, what's the best way to develop yourself as a brand or a real studio?
So the first, okay, that's a loaded question. The thing that I will say actually just made my life in general easier is figuring out you as a person, your theme, in a sense. When I took on the frog persona, a lot of things just kind of started falling into place, becoming easier. It was just like, on a casual state, being able to play games with people, I always would go with green characters or customization options. Just made that whole decision-making process easier. But in more of the business side of things, the Lilypad, the Discord server, making the Discord the Lilypad was such an easy thing to do when I realized, it's a frog thing now. It was just a much easier system in place at that point. Full density is a little bit different, but to really answer your question in a shorter answer, I'd say is the biggest thing is really to build yourself as a brand. You need to make sure that it's a little bit, how do I put it? Make sure that you want to be a brand. You want to be something that is recognizable. But I would say, don't concern yourself greatly with the prospect that there's nothing new in the sun, that nothing you come up with will be especially unique. There's 100 people out there with frog-related stuff. There's 100 people out there who have black and white stick figures. There's 100 people out there with brown stick figures. Maybe not ones with a hat and a beard, but there's tons of people out there who have a ton of different things, who have come up with very similar ideas to yours. That does not mean that your idea is not impressive. So what I'd say is take something you like, make something, and then just start to honestly, the biggest thing is appeal. Just go for appeal or consistency. Appeal helps because people just, they'll like to look at it. Consistency is a lot better in the long term because when you have consistency, people are always coming back. So yeah, appeal and consistency, I'd say would be the two things to concentrate on the most.
Stone, what would you say to that? Because you still have you run your own business.
You're wrong.
I think it's really important to have clarity for yourself and for what it is that you're doing. And if you have something that's visual, like you talked about, how you have this frog identity, so it makes it quick and easy to kind of draw other conclusions. Like you made a lily pad because that's something a frog would be on or near. Mm-hmm. And so having that kind of clarity in your branding, and you can kind of piggyback to other avenues of things that you're doing, is really important. And it makes people also feel more a part of the thing that you're doing. Because really, when it comes down to is people as a whole and as humans, we truly just want to be a part of something. And so if you make something that's relatable or understood in a very clear way, people will be drawn to it and want to be a part of it. So yeah, I agree. I think having that clarity in the thing that you are presenting, and not only might be similar to other things, but still is distinctly its own, is the most important aspect of building a brand.
Mm. Yeah.
Very nice. Sebastian S. asks, do any of your series have overarching lore with any other series? Looking for Dojo references.
Gotcha. I will say, if we're talking about D&D, all of the Space and Dice stuff that I've hosted is all in the same like universe. So like everything is connected in that world. So, but in more like the animation stuff, I have kind of separated my stuff from the dojo in the sense that I did make some duels, but I have stopped. But then when I came up with like kind of like the series idea, for like the stick figure series that I kind of wanted to do, I don't have it connected to Seer. I just it's so you know how like Gilded Guy has the Stellapin Seer that he has, right? Which is kind of it's his own version of Seer. I decided to just make my own custom world so that I could have the complete freedom with how I kind of wanted to do things in my stuff. The power system, like the things in general. But I do have like plenty of references as well. And I don't know why I didn't mention this earlier. It's probably not going to be done for a while, but I am actually making a dojo related, like it's the World of Seer related D&D expansion that I'm making. So, so that's something I'm doing. But yeah, in general, I don't really have a lot of stuff that connects from the dojo lore, to be frank. Like, my lore is my lore, and the dojo lore is the dojo lore. If I ever end up doing duels at all ever again, then probably will do some continuous stuff like that. But I kind of stop. Like, I'm mainly on the dojo for the collabs now, and being on the server and the community and stuff like that. So, plus, it's a really good place to pick up good animators, you know.
Yeah, it is.
Let's be straight up. Like, you go through that list, you're like, is that a ninja? Yo, wait a minute. That's a Shogun. Listen, bro, you want to join a collab? You know? Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah.
Solarium Z asks, should we do something about Hyun over there?
I can't turn around.
Yeah,
I can't turn around,
right.
so I don't actually know where he is.
Yeah, neither
he's
can.
chilling.
Yeah, I mean, I assume he's on the couch, right? I mean, we can't
he's
move.
probably on the couch.
Obviously, we're not animated.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
that just doesn't happen.
It's fine. It's just,
Yeah,
you know, he
Yeah.
does this.
Yeah, like we have yet to learn our walk cycles.
Yeah, we are still images.
I'm just
And
confused, man.
so whatever dojo, like I'm sure Hyun's probably he's chilling back there. He's on the couch probably. You know, I don't see him on the side of the couch that I can see, but like there's a good there's a cushion there, and it's just not like I'm sure.
Yeah, I've just learned to trust not having any kind of peripheral vision.
He's been kind of quiet lately, so I just kind of trust he's there.
Yeah,
But,
I mean,
It's probably fine.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll do a final question for today. Thunderblaze asks, BestFrog, are you going to direct a whole animated movie one day?
Oh, absolutely.
And you're already going to be in a movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in one, and I do plan to animate to direct a full like animated movie one day. I will say I am more partial to like episodic series, like seasons and stuff like that. But I do love movies. To be honest, I'm more likely gonna do live action movies, but stick with like episodic stuff for like animation. But what happens. If I get the chance to make a movie and I can make it really, really cool and nice and stuff, like then I'm probably gonna do that as well.
Yeah, nice. All right, well, thank you for joining. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
yes, thanks for hopping on, Mr. Frog. Last name Frog.
BestFrog.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Just call me.
Mr.
You can just call me
Frog.
Mr. Frog. It's fine.
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Frog. Guys, as always, be sure to leave a comment on something you liked on today's episodes. We're always looking at the comments. Even if we don't reply, we're checking out the comments and we review our episodes and see what we like and see what you guys like and how to make episodes even better. So be sure to join us next week for episode 21 with nobody. There's no guest. It's a guestless episode.
No.
It's a guestless episode. So yes.
Yeah. Me and Stone will still be here.
Yeah, we're gonna be.
And
yes, the
Hyun will
guest
be here as well.
not-
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, Ken will never not be here, right? Wait. Would it be Mr. Un? If I'm Mr. Frog, Mr. Own, and Mr. Antenna? Wait, Mr.
No, mine's Mr. 360.
Mr. 360.
True. Yeah,
and then
it has to
Mr.
be
Own.
separation
yeah.
of words. You have two
Yeah.
words. I'm like Prince.
No, and Stone's his first name Stone, middle name Stick, last name Station.
There you go. Yes.
I remember that right.
Oh.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Station.
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah,
Station.
Mr. Station.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining. We'll see y'all next
Bye,
time.
friends.
Bye bye.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.